Okay, Dr. Harris, this is my informative speech. This is my crowd, kind of small, but I am doing this at work, so please bear with me. Okay, um, excuse me if I look at my phone from time to time. This is where my transcript's located, so I want to make sure I follow my speaking outline appropriately. All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for allowing me to speak today. Today, I'll be discussing the history of the 82nd Airborne Division during World War I and World War II, specific time frame. The 82nd Airborne Division is known as America's Honor Guard. The reason it's referred to as America's Honor Guard was upon inspection, General George S. Patton, after World War II, said that the 82nd's Honor Guard was the finest honor guard he ever witnessed, and it should represent the country. Okay, the 82nd Infantry Division, as it was originally known, was activated in August of 1917 at Camp Gordon, Georgia, okay, approximately located around the vicinity of Augusta. All right, it conducted rigorous training and preparation for their role as part of the American Expeditionary Force in World War I. Once hostilities started after the sinking of the Lusitania, the 82nd Infantry Division was designated as a combat-ready unit and deployed in support of the American Expeditionary Division. All right. They formed up in France in May of 1918 and prepared to conduct combat operations against the German forces. According to James Cook's book, The All-Americans at War, the 82nd Division during the Great War, they took part in the very first American offensive of the war at St. Mihiel. During their combat in World War I, 2 All-American soldiers were awarded the Medal of Honor. Lieutenant Colonel Emory Pike and Sergeant Alvin C. York, a very famous Tennessean. The 82nd fought valiantly throughout the remaining of World War I until the German Army signed the Treaty of Versailles on November 11th of 1918. At the conclusion of World War I, the 82nd Infantry Division would not see combat again until the start of the most devastating armed conflict in human history, World War II. All right. In response to the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, the American president at the time, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, declared war against the Japanese Imperial Army. Also at that time, the German army, led by Adolf Hitler, declared war against the United States. Okay, in response to this, all right, according to Steve Mozark's book, The 82nd Airborne Division, The Deuce on the Loose, the division reorganized March 25th, 1942 at Camp Claiborne, Louisiana. Okay, they conducted new and experimental parachute training in reference to something known as airborne combat tactics. Okay, they were America's first unit ever designated for the United States Army as an airborne unit, and they became this on August 15th of 1942. Now that the division had repurposed itself to meet the upcoming challenges laid in front of them, they were mobilized for war and the armies of the Third Reich against the armies of the Third Reich in Africa and Europe. All right. Now prepared for the European theater of combat, the 82nd Airborne Division left the United States for war for the second time on 29 April 1943. Once arriving in Europe, the theater of combat, the 82nd Airborne conducted its first 2 combat jumps on July 9th into Sicily and September 13th into Salerno. According to Guy Lafaro's book, The Sword of St. Michael, the 82nd Airborne Division in World War II, the division participated in the Allied invasion of France, known as Operation Overlord, on June 6, 1944. This was the invasion of France, and the 82nd spearheaded that with an airborne assault, being the only unit in the United States Army to actually have airborne experience in combat. They fought in the largest battle also in history, known as the Battle of the Bulge, when the last German offensive of World War II was conducted in the Ardennes Forest along the borders of Belgium. After serving valiantly on the European front for over 4 years in 4 combat jumps, the 82nd Airborne Division's role in World War II came to an end with Germany's unconditional surrender on what is now known as VE Day. Overall, the 82nd led the United States Army in developing a cutting-edge method of engaging America's enemies on the battlefield decisively. Their presence and expertise of arms demonstrated during these conflicts helped maintain America's blanket of freedom during a time when it needed it most. This time I'll open the floor up for questions. I need 3.
What was the 82nd's role in D-Day?
The 82nd's role in D-Day was to seize major waterfronts along the beaches of Omaha and Utah, specifically vicinity of St. Mary Glees and a town known as Carrington. Anybody else? Anything?
How many troops were sent in with the infantry?
As far as actual combat numbers, I'm really not aware. That's an outstanding question. I know that the typical model of airplane they utilized during Operation Overlord was a C-47. How its troop carrying capacity, I'm not really sure. At the time, the division consisted of about 18,000 individuals. And one more.
What does the 82nd currently jump out of?
The 82nd currently utilizes aircraft C-130 and C-17. C-130 Hercules, C-130 J-30, and C-17 Globemaster III. Also, the 82nd is capable, as far as proficiency or other operations, of jumping from rotary wing aircraft, CH-47 Chinooks, UH-60 Blackhawks, Spartan C-27 aircraft as well. Okay, if that's all the questions we have for today,